No.
Hey, there
there
it
you go.
goes. It says we're live now.
That's weird. I moved to a different part of the house because I didn't know if it was on my end or not.
No, it's not on your end. I do believe it is StreamYard's fault as to what's going on. It's
great.
okay. It's the first time we've had any issues with it, so
We'll allow it.
we'll allow it.
So, Kevin, you asked us what was different, and we were talking about we go for walks, and that feels weird because it feels like our prison exercise.
Yeah.
For the day.
Yeah.
What's your weirdest new part of your routine?
I don't know. I've just been getting stir crazy more than anything at night. I've seen more people out and about in the neighborhood. The weather's just crushed everything, and so this afternoon, I was able to get out and go for a run. But yeah, I think the one thing I've tried to do more so the past week or so is just having more phone conversations and FaceTimes with people. I text and talk to you guys just about every day, or definitely every day. I don't know why I said just about. We all know what's really going on here, but I find myself just I'll randomly FaceTime Tim in the afternoon or whatever just to see another person. You know what I mean? And so I've definitely noticed myself FaceTiming my sister and you guys and JP and friends and stuff like that. And then I feel like just more conversation in general,
That's all you can do right now, right?
Yeah, we've been FaceTiming more people. We've seen our friends more often this week than we do normally. Yeah. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what the whole COVID thing, I think, is done for everybody, and what maybe incited some of the initial reaction out of most people was I think everybody kind of took this emotional inventory of everybody that they have in their lives that are, maybe immune compromised or older, or just friends and family that even aren't in that, category of people that are at a higher risk level, but still just important. And as a result, have gone to additional measures to try to communicate and hang out with those people, even though they may still be, because a lot of those people are still, they aren't local to begin with. Right. So it's not like I'm going to be hanging out with my sister. She's 2 states away, but just having that additional time to talk to her or other people has been good. And then just trying to get more creative ways of hanging out with those people. Right. So I know you guys did some trivia with your family this past week over Zoom or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels like, oh my gosh, we can't go visit these people. But in reality, we didn't have plans to go anyways for the next few months, but it does.
Right.
As soon as you can't, then it adds kind of this extra layer of panic to it. But it has been making us call people more often and FaceTime and get creative, which has been good.
Yeah. And you and I had talked about earlier today, your idea, Kevin, of playing categories, something to that effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
so
I think
trying
would be
to find
game.
things like that. Yeah, that's a good one that I think you could do remotely. Our buddy Joe Johnstone put together a little Google Hangout for some people, some familiar faces to the show in there. So that's been good, hanging out with him and Michelle, Coach Steve, Delmer, Allie. I think Jason's in there, a couple other people. So that's been good too. And yeah, just hanging out with people, talking to people when we can. And that's really been about it. So
yeah, I've picked back up FIFA, which I hadn't played, and I bought it whenever it first came out. So I skipped 19, but I bought 20 whenever it came out, played it for a day, and then I hadn't turned on my Xbox in God knows how long, 4 or 5 months. And then we struck up the Pro Clubs team, started playing that. Call of Duty put out that Warzone game at the right time.
Yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah, just what is it? Fortnite, but for Call of Duty. Yeah. It's intense. But
yeah, it's been good though. I mean, it's not been completely unbearable. The grocery stores are kind of crazy, but
we haven't braved the grocery stores outside of getting pickup from Kroger, really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been, I mean, it's not bad. You just have to wait like 3 days at a time to get an order fulfilled. It's so backed up at this point.
yeah.
Yeah, we put in an order today. It won't be ready till Friday at like 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
But there are worse things, right? I mean,
Right.
Yeah, we talk about like the big picture is what seems so scary or so intimidating because there's still no real timeline for it, and it feels overwhelming if you think this is a couple months, let alone a couple more weeks.
Yeah. That's been the biggest thing for me to deal with is that like existential dread, I think,
Yeah.
more than anything, because it's like everything feels kind of upside down, and my normal routine, not just like with work, but even the gyms being closed, sauna being closed, even like teletherapy stuff has been kind of hit or miss with everybody's schedules and stuff like that. So all of this stuff is just like, all right, this is all just fueling the fire of like, I don't know what the hell's happening or what's going to happen 2 weeks or 2 months from now. Luckily, I didn't have any trips or anything planned, so it's not a real big deal to just be at home,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah. Will Bowron, yes. So he says can't stay long, but y'all are good. And he said healthy, happy, sane. Yeah. Yeah. We're definitely in that boat, I would say. Kevin did have his trip postponed at the very least. His Yeet Pray Love is gonna have to wait.
Yep. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for hanging.
Mhm.
And now we wait and see because we have a trip planned for July to go to Alaska. And depending on what projections you look at, that might be in jeopardy too.
Yeah. And that's the problem is like I don't know what I'm going to do about rescheduling it because I don't know when I'm going to be clear. You know, do I do it for July or do I do it for August or do I have to wait until next year? So yeah, I have no idea. And people, I mean, everybody's in the same boat. It's different. Like I feel weird even being upset or, you know, troubled by it. It's kind of a luxury problem to have that I had a trip planned while people are out of work and stuff like that, or people that are having weddings and things compromised by it. You know, everything's just crazy. So
it's all relative though. You're still allowed to have your thing that's affected and is a major bummer.
Yeah, that's the other thing we're talking about is like it's good to have perspective and see, relatively speaking, how you stand in terms of how detrimental this has been to you. But at the same time, and it's human nature, and it's fair to be disappointed by things like your trip being canceled, even though you know that how detrimental it's been to some other people, and you know how much worse, I guess, it is for them. If that makes sense, it might sound a little selfish, but at the same time, I think it's totally fair.
It's just how you handle it. You get to have your moment of being disappointed and bummed, and also on the other hand, no, it's not as bad for me as it is for other people, but that doesn't take away that it's a bummer.
Yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen with MLS season. To everybody that's hanging out with us that are here talking about quarantine stuff that also are here most of the time for Atlanta United stuff. I have no idea. Again, it's just everything feels like it's up in the air. Things that just seemed like clockwork that have been upended that I have no idea what's going to happen now. But the rest, like the whole rest of the year seems questionable, you know?
Yeah. The day by day is fine. It's weird, but every day is not that different than maybe just a quiet weekend day. But it's when you look at the long term of it, who knows? Are we going to be doing something like this again in the fall? Or is this going to be something we learn from in time for the next time? Or
I mean, that's what Kendrick was asking. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing is that they've looked at other pandemics and stuff like that in the past that have come with multiple waves that come months after the fact. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we're not experts by any stretch, but I mean, you look at what's happening in Italy. It's pretty crazy. And then to think that China's lifting restrictions now, to think that it's totally
Those wet
within
markets aren't going to
reason.
run themselves, Tim.
What's that?
So those wet markets aren't going to run
Yeah,
themselves.
that's true. It's totally. I think it's not within, or it is within reason to think that there might be like a relapse or another pandemic that happens in China if they open the floodgates too soon. I mean, India just posted a minimum 21-day stay-at-home order for the entire country of 1.3 billion people today.
Yeah.
Like, what's that going to do? I mean, you look at if you're talking about like economically and everything, what that did to what happened with China and what that shutdown meant for everybody around the world. I mean, India's like right in the same boat. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
It also feels like we're kind of all hiding from this ghost monster because like I woke up from a nap yesterday and I didn't feel great and I was like, is this it?
Oh,
When was
yeah.
the last time we
Especially the
had contact
allergies
with
right
somebody?
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you feel insane because you're like, well, we've seen maybe 3 people, but that's enough. It through delivery or food pickup. We could have gotten it, but we've been trying really hard. And then you could have no symptoms. You could have really mild symptoms, or you end up in the ICU and there's no way of knowing which one of those you're going to get. You could get sick within the first day you're exposed or 14 days after you're exposed. So you're just like, we have no way of knowing.
Yeah. And when does the clock
feels
reset
like a
too?
quiet place. It feels like a quiet
that's what
place
I was
right
going to
now.
say. Yeah.
It's I started reading World War Z is my quarantine book to read.
Yes, it's
and
good
I
times.
can't read it before we go to bed anymore because I can't sleep. So I have like a cutoff time of when I have to stop reading it. It's just such this weird feeling where it's like, oh, it's nothing to really be that afraid about, but you don't know what version you'll get or if you'll get it. It's really hard there's nothing tangible about this whole thing.
And there's so much like weird one-off things about blood types potentially having an effect on it, where some blood types are more susceptible to have symptoms and issues with it versus other ones. I know that O is less likely to have issues. Again, I say I know, but this is again the problem. I say I know because I've heard it from a couple of sources that I have no idea if they're credible or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's ridiculous. But you guys have been. I saw whenever everything crashed, you had posted in the trap about what you guys have been binging and stuff like that. What have you guys been watching? Because like everybody else, I know everybody's just been turning to the streaming services as the last bastion of hope.
We've been watching Big Mouth, which we had been watching beforehand, and luckily we still have a little bit left of it. The Nick Kroll cartoon.
Oh yeah.
With John Mulaney. It's really good. We really like it.
Yeah.
We just started watching Tiger King.
I've only heard good things about that.
Yeah, I think we're not far from finishing it. We have 2 more episodes left.
I knew some of the story, but there's like 5 equally as crazy aspects of the story that I had no idea about. And it's just really interesting from an animal keeping perspective of like, okay, where's the line? Who's doing it wrong? Why is their version of doing it the wrong way to do it? Why is theirs a little bit more okay? It's just the lines are so blurry that it's really interesting. For me, having no tiger experience, but having separate animal experience and then trying to judge these other people for their animals. It's
kind of weighs on your conscience, I'm sure.
It's really easy for me to be like, oh, that's wrong. And this is why, but I then have to think about people who look at aquariums and think that's wrong. How do I explain to them what the difference is? I don't know. It's just very interesting. It's crazy, that story.
Yeah, I knew nothing of it going in. So everything's like crazy. Everything's insane in that show. It's really fun. You should watch. Well, I say fun. It's a wild ride that you should definitely get on.
Oh, we're gonna watch it. We are gonna watch it.
And then we watched, per your suggestion. I guess I wouldn't have realized it because I tend to ignore stand-up specials on Netflix unless we're in the mood for it.
That's all I watch.
But there's just so many, like to the point where it's ironic that they call them specials still. But Hey Big Boy, the Bert Kreischer stand up, it was
pretty good,
pretty great. That was like one of the some of the jokes in that had us just rolling on.
I couldn't breathe. Yeah, there was a couple of times I couldn't breathe. I just had my head in the pillow, scream laughing.
And
Not a
then
good
Tom
look.
Segura's came out last night, right?
Yeah, at midnight last night. So
Yeah, ball
I'll watch
hog.
that this week too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Wow.
Chris D'Elia's is the 17th, I think, of April. So that'll be a good
Okay.
one.
Yeah, that's not far off.
We started The Outsider on HBO this weekend. So that's been good so far.
We knew somebody who was supposed to be in that show, but their part got cut, which sucks.
He kept saying,
Oh,
"Next, it's in the
no.
next episode, I think, guys. It's in the finale."
Oh no.
Damn it.
But I'm too afraid to watch it because it's
Bloody.
bloody.
It's not been too bad so far. We're like 3
Okay.
episodes in.
I'll wait till you
and-
get to the end, and then I'll take
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
take
let you
your
know.
assessment.
I thought it was going to be the first episode had like a quick scene that I was like, "Ooh, this could be kind of gruesome," but so far it's not been too bad. It's just been a lot of like, what's going on so far, but it's slowly building up. So,
Okay.
yeah. I saw Andy had mentioned Westworld. I know the 3rd season started on that. I started the 2nd season. The problem with that show is that it's just, I can't binge watch it. It's like I'll get an episode and a half in and be like, okay, I need to stop and think about what's happening because it's just so heavy. So,
like True Detective.
yeah.
Did you ever watch the 3rd season of True Detective?
I heard good things about it, but I need to go back and watch it for sure.
Yeah. I need to do
There's
the
a
same
lot of
thing.
stuff out there, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like aside from like Saturday and Sunday,
Yeah,
we have the same schedule.
We've been doing a good job
That's
of
true.
not that watching Netflix is bad, but not just using that to fill in the last 5 hours of our day like we could be doing.
Yeah.
We've been trying to stick to, we make dinner, we either go for our walk or call people. I don't know. But sitting and watching Netflix has only been a small pocket of what we do.
Organizing my shop.
Yeah.
That's good.
We've been nesting.
Yeah, just a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah. And then Angie's been cranking out commission after commission after just killing it.
All those markets got canceled, so I've got so much free time.
That's good though. It's good that you've had some stuff rolling in. Are you still taking commissions or?
I have one more after the one I'm finishing tonight. I've got one more left. And then I've got an idea for the next version of commissions I want to do. So I need to get a couple of like example ones done.
Okay.
She broke 1,000 followers on Instagram, which I think is pretty awesome.
Take a look
That's
at me.
awesome. How much are you at? I'm gonna unfollow you just to.
No, I think I'm still just there. Don't take it from me. You take away my 1K for Kevin.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do some art stuff. I think maybe this week.
Oh, I'm gonna go grab
weekend.
what he made us for our anniversary.
Yeah, go.
Oh yeah,
Don't not drop it.
I've got the bourbon label that I did. I'll wait till Tim gets back to announce that. I have been cooking more, which has been fun,
Ooh.
and trying to like cook new things. So I made tamales from scratch this weekend. Which
Yeah,
was
those
awesome.
looked awesome.
That was fun. It's one of those things though, like pierogies the last time, where you can't just make 5 or 6 of them. It's like you make 50 or 60 of them. So I've
And you
got
freeze them. Just put them in the freezer for the end times.
Yeah, which apparently we're in, which hasn't
No.
been helping the snacking at all. So
Snack.
I can't. At least I'm not baking, I guess.
Oh,
If I start
Tim has been
baking, we'll
trying
be
to
in
bake.
trouble. If I start baking, we'll be in big trouble.
There. This is
Just
what
because it's going to be terrible.
Kevin drew us. I gave it to Tim for our first anniversary. It's a picture of the table where we had our first date, and Kevin crushed it.
Smushed it.
For people who are just listening, I'm very sorry about Tim just holding this in front of the camera.
Describe it with your words.
Describe it. There's got lines to it. There is a table. It's beautiful.
Oh man,
It was
I
really
can't
fun.
look at it. The presentation the presentation makes it better. I think.
Yeah.
So
but,
distinctly,
all the
like
work.
as soon as I didn't even have to see the signature on it.
He got all like,
That's
and I
so
said,
weird for
"What
me to
is
think
it?"
about.
He goes, it's our first date. And I said, "Who made it?" He goes, civet. Yeah, he knew right away.
That's so weird for me to even think about having. I don't know. I don't think about having a quote unquote style or anything like that. So
A brand.
to hear you
It's very
say that
Ninja
is
Turtles.
really
No, I'm serious. Like I look at that and I could see the old school Ninja Turtles like hopping into there.
yeah. So
We were
that's been
talking about baking, and we've never bought anything for baking.
No.
So Tim has been desperate for cookies or
Uh-huh.
sugar. So he's been cooking. We started off with
Shortbread.
because you don't need a whole lot for shortbread.
You
but
literally need 3
But
ingredients.
we would add hot chocolate packets to it to
Oh.
try and make it chocolate shortbread. And then what did you make? The almond flour.
Yeah, I mean, I had almond flour and then some maple syrup, some sugar-free maple syrup, and you can make cookies with just those 2 ingredients at the right ratio.
So with this
Yeah.
next Kroger pickup, I made him take all the Doritos out of it. He's like, "Do I have to take all the baking supplies out of it?" It's like, "No, you need those. You can have.
We got a bag of Lily's chocolate chips coming with it.
You
So
can have
dude,
the activity."
Those things, I just keep every time I walk by the refrigerator, I just take them out of the freezer and just throw them in my face. So good. Because I ran out of the Lily's chocolate bars, which I was breaking off and eating like fucking Dunkaroos, where I would just stick them in the peanut butter.
Yep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, especially crunchy peanut butter. God.
Yep, exactly that. Exactly that.
Jif's crunchy natural peanut butter is my jam.
Oh,
I know you
man.
go with the whole natural stuff, but
Yeah, I get the like no sugar, just peanuts and salt, basically.
so Kevin Escobar has a good survival tip. He said, okay, I'm back. Sorry, folks, I missed everything, but stop snacking. What if this turns out like the Walking Dead scenario? Whose house
I
am
don't
I
want
going
to
to
be a
rob
part
for
of that
food?
world. I don't want to be a part of
Right.
that world.
Why are you robbing? Why are you trying to stay alive in a Walking Dead
Yeah.
scenario? I am
That's a
all
hard
for
pass for
just
me.
as soon as it's too far gone, we just cut.
Bye.
We just cut out. Yeah, I don't need to be around trying to impress anybody who's surviving best. No, I don't want it.
I don't think you guys want to see what this hair looks like when it's greasy. And I
Ugh.
can't wash it.
He won't let me cut it. I told him if he just
Why
lets me cut it
would I
now,
let her cut it?
it's gonna grow. Well, the compromise is that I get a man bun in the next week or two. It's gonna be long enough for a man bun, so he's doing it.
That's great. That's gonna be great.
It's going to be less of a man bun and more of like a Tom Cruise Last Samurai type man bun.
Michael Parkhurst.
Like what Ben used to do, our buddy in high school would do with soccer. He would just put a little like pigtail at the top of his head.
Do
to
it.
get it out of
Walk
his
the
face.
neighborhood with your pigtail.
I like it. I like it.
I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to get a haircut. Not that really matters.
I got one today. It was great. Just went into the bathroom. Just
That's what I'm going to do. But with my brawn razor, just going to start
brawn.
skipping and ripping my hair out. My brawn.
I thought you said with my bra on.
That's what I thought he said.
I'm a pretty lady.
I'm pretty
be
sure
like
if you're working
Buffalo
from
Bob.
home, you don't have to wear a bra, Tim. I've got it on good authority. Nobody's gonna know.
Sometimes you just want to feel supported by yourself, even if you've got no one to dress up for.
It's called security.
It's good. It's good.
Ugh.
So I do think I talked to you about it. I think even though nobody's going to want to spend money, I can't wait to start seeing all the online sales that are going to start popping up.
Yeah.
anyway now.
Yeah,
They haven't really started yet.
I know. We need the Bowflex to go on sale.
When you say that, it sounds like we're getting a weight machine Bowflex, but really we're getting like an elliptical.
Yeah.
You guys can think about getting an elliptical for real? Does
Yeah.
it work like the Bowflex? Like it's got the rods attached to it and everything?
We're just like
The ultimate workout is weightlifting and elliptical at the same time. It's the ridiculous.
it's a hamster ball.
Did you ever watch Aqua Teen and Hunger Force movie?
No, I didn't.
Oh, the ridiculous exercise machine that Carl gets, and they finally put it together. And you get sucked into it and just starts working you out. It's like this. You end up getting gigantic from it.
That's what we need.
It's called the ridiculous.
Just do it for me.
Yeah.
I think I might
That's
just
what-
go full Frank from It's Always Sunny to Kevin Escobar's point about just going full powder and shaving it all off. I'm just going to go Frank from It's
Down the
Always
middle.
Sunny, just shave everything off and just coat myself in hand sanitizer like a human slug just to be pure.
Oh, the workout machine makes me think of my brother Danny getting a class action lawsuit settlement for the Abtronic. Do you remember that little
What?
device?
No.
What?
It's this belt, and you put this gel on it,
Oh,
and then
it's
you
just-
stick it onto your stomach, and it shocks you to give you it hurt.
And he did it?
Oh yeah.
Why?
He got it. Well, he got it from my brother Andy whenever he was sick, or whenever he was. Yeah. Anyway, trying to get him feeling better, feeling like he was getting into shape, and that sort of thing. I think was the thought behind it. So, and then, yeah, it was bad. It would shock you and give you like these spasms, and you would just feel like I'm trying to remember what it actually, if it felt like you were gonna pee yourself or
What was the settlement?
it's like $12.
Jackpot.
Yeah.
Worth
It's like
it.
all class action lawsuits.
Oh, yeah.
It's too many
Nobody
people.
wins in those things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I got a recall notice on my truck the other day. And I was like,
This is a
okay,
trap.
great.
Yeah,
Like, what? I'm
For
not
the
coming
whole
in there
thing.
to get this fixed.
Yeah. exactly.
And
We
the
got to
whole-
recall the whole thing.
Yeah. And the recall was actually pretty scary because I've used because it's a relatively new car and I haven't the trial for the app on my phone for the key fob on my phone hasn't run out yet. I'm not gonna renew it because I think I have keys for that. But is if you started the truck with the app and let it sit longer than 5 minutes, the electronic brake assist would had the potential to fail.
Oh, minor
Small-
details.
small
Yeah.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Minor
Bye.
details.
I just had to get that hot, get my cabin hot before I went to work. Yeah.
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 And then you just look outside and it's rolling down the side.
Yeah,
Yeah. So all the festivals are canceled.
Mm-hmm.
All of the sports are canceled.
Yep. Except esports.
I know, except for esports. You're right.
I think it was funny because somebody at work said, "Oh, well, NASCAR had an event this weekend," and somebody was like, "No, they didn't have an event. They changed to esports racing."
I think that this has got to be. I'm surprised that the esports leagues aren't taking this opportunity to play the games that were supposed to be scheduled with the esports players that represent those teams each week. Like that
Yeah.
seems like a huge lost opportunity to me. And maybe they are, and they're just not promoting it enough. But especially for like MLS, because each team has their EMLS player, they should be pitting those guys up against each other the weeks that the teams are supposed to be playing.
Yeah,
each
that'd be
other.
fun.
Did you guys get that notification this past weekend about the Atlanta United game? Do you guys have your calendar synced for Atlanta United?
No, where it moved the SKC game to October.
Oh, did it? I just got the notification that this past weekend was supposed to be the Chicago match. Whenever it was like almost game time. I was like,
Oh, no. I saw something where people were logged into the app and they saw that the SKC game had gotten rescheduled to October. And I don't know if they fixed that immediately, but I don't know if that was just an error.
have to be. There's no way that's going to happen.
So I was just thinking about when did they start the season back up, and then how late in the year does that put us? Because right now we're on track to miss 2 months
Yeah.
Yep.
at least, obviously. But if we
The
start,
question is, do they start scheduling games midweek?
do they just pack them all in?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Basically, every team is playing like a game every 4 days.
How are they going to be able to support all of that travel? And then obviously whoever gets to be at home has the advantage for those. It's
No
going to be
idea.
nuts.
No idea. And it's going to screw up for some teams. Like Atlanta's going to get screwed because at a certain point you're competing with Falcon's schedule too. Atlanta and
Yeah.
Seattle are going to be the two teams that are going to have to contend with sharing stadiums.
And New England.
But the
Oh, yeah.
MLS Cup last year was in October, right?
Right.
And the year before that it was December 8th.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's not.
You
We've
can-
been in December
yeah.
before.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, H Huss in the trap saying Premier League will most likely get suspended, which will be very hard on Liverpool, which would really suck if they canceled the season because it would be null and void. And their first title in 30 years would be taken away from them when they're 20 plus points ahead of second place.
How many games do they have left though?
15, something like that.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know what's going to happen, man. It's, what I had the thought about was, so some schools are closed through.
Oh, no, they're only 8. Sorry, they're only 8 games left.
They could make a deal with that still. Some schools are closed for the whole year.
Yeah. So I get that, like, that in a vacuum affects this school year, but for seniors that are applying to college that can't take the SATs and ACTs because Prometric centers are closed, how does that affect college applications for next year potentially?
Most of those kids should have already taken those. You can. I remember retaking it in the spring if you wanted to try again, but I had my school acceptance by like January because I took my SATs in the fall of my senior year.
Yeah, I can't remember when I took mine.
I remember when
just
I was
wasn't
first
sure.
supposed to take my ACT, and we went out to USC Sumter to play soccer. And then we were on a Saturday. It was like 10 a.m. And then we went to go sit and take a break after playing for a minute. I was like, oh, no. I was supposed to be there.
Oh, God.
God knows, Tim.
Yeah, we were at your house, and then we went to go play soccer on Saturday morning. Yeah, it was
My
not
fault.
a fun phone call to give to my parents.
Alex says some schools are not going to require SAT and ACTs.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting because then how do you pick
Now's
them?
the time to
But I
apply
guess
for your
it's
second
self-grade.
degree.
Yeah.
Time to get that MBA, Tim.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I took the.
I mean, everyone's just rolling in free money right now, and the economy is great. Let's just sign up for some debt.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be
Screw
good
it.
if it gets suspended. Yeah. Yeah, I took the GMAT. I just didn't end up going to business school.
But you got it. Whenever you want it,
But
you're
got
ready.
it. But we were talking about like college seniors have been posting, my senior year is ruined, or I never get to see my friends again. We won't get to have any more college parties. And the reflex is, oh, that's so stupid. Stop complaining about it. But then you go back to, well, that's really relative to them. And I totally understand why that's a big deal because I got to have my full college experience.
Oh, yeah.
I would be complaining if I didn't get what I had expected, or there was no, I don't know. We should have seen this coming, obviously, but there was no planning that it was going to affect anybody's lives like this until what, 2 days before they started telling everybody to stay home.
Oh, yeah. Ugh. I don't know, guys.
It's just
not
weird that
everybody's
this one
healthy.
thing is affecting everything in the entire world for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
It's nuts.
Oh, yeah. Which I guess is like the one, it sounds weird to think about it this way. Like that's kind of the one saving grace of this is it's like, it's not just a local or even a U.S. problem. It's a global problem that every country is going to have to figure out on a massive scale. So I just don't know how you fix it. It's crazy.
But you can't replan everything. So
And you can't look away. I feel like every time I'm like, okay, I'm getting off of looking at social media and stuff like that, it's like I need to see I just feel like I don't have any sense of control over anything or even an understanding of what that lack of control is to know when I might be able to return to some normalcy in some aspect of things.
Because it's not like I'm hanging out with all my friends or we're camping and I'm not going to check my phone for the weekend. It's
Right.
I'm either sitting alone or with Tim in our house. And if I want any kind of contact with the outside world, I have to go onto my phone.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see all of it again, which is just a give and take of, is there anything new to know? Are we still just not knowing? Are we panicking now or are we not panicking? It just keeps going back and forth from this is almost over. This is never going to be over. This is almost over. Nobody knows what they're talking about.
Right.
It's just the craziest thing to me. I know we keep saying crazy, but this is a variation of the same type of virus as the common cold, which is fucking nuts.
I think that's why it's so hard for people to wrap their brains
Right.
around, because you have no way of knowing if you've been around it or not until somebody has it. And then you also have no way of knowing what version of it you're going to see or hear about. So,
yeah, the numbers in terms of like, I can't remember, is it ROC number? Is that what it is? Like,
It's the rock.
yeah, it's pretty much like the rate, the spread rate is something like 3. It's like every person that contracts it will spread it to 3 people.
Yeah.
It's something like after 10 rounds of spreading, it's 50. It'll have reached almost 60,000 people. Whereas the same rate with the flu is like 14 people, which is, is mind-boggling.
But we've just been in our house for a week and a half, so these are all numbers we see on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's like I said, it's like the quiet place where you just kind of stay hunkered down and try to see what you can out your window and your immediate proximity, and the rest is just online.
We talk a lot about the birds in the yard. I mean, we were doing that before anyways, but now it's even more exciting to see which new birds we get.
We had two red-bellied woodpeckers that were flying around the day. I think they were like fighting each other. I think they were both males, weren't they?
Yeah, but
because we have a pair. We have, I don't know if, I think they're a mating pair that we've had in our yard for the past 2 years, year and a half. And now there's another one coming in. I don't know if it's one of their sons.
It's a regular soap opera.
Yeah, it's fun though, narrating the birds.
It is. We've got so much more time to do it.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say that was one of the things that I realized. I had this weird realization this afternoon on the run. After I got done, I just kind of like turned my headphones off and put them in my pocket and was just doing my cool down walk and just listening to the birds and everything else just kind of going on life as usual. And I was just like, oh, the rest of the world just goes on. Nobody fucking cares. Like,
yeah,
no matter what's going on with us and our silly problems, other animals and everything else couldn't be bothered any less.
They're having a great time.
Yeah, and there really isn't as much noise pollution. So you can hear those sorts of things a little louder. We hear the birds a lot louder. I don't know if it's necessarily because we're listening more for them, but I mean the noise pollution's not there. I bet the wild animals are loving this sort of thing.
I got a question for you. So we talked about like what kind of stuff what things you've done that have been out of the norm over the past week or so. And obviously we've still got at least another week, most likely another several. I know Mayor Lance Bottoms issued that executive order. I think that's in effect for another 2 weeks from last
Starts
night.
At midnight tonight.
Yeah, it's technically not for us, but it's going to affect everybody.
Right. And typically the way we've seen this happen in Georgia, where Atlanta issues something, the state follows suit a few days later. You would expect to see that happen, considering Georgia's cases are currently like top 10 states in the country with
like number 3, right? Or number 4?
No, we dropped a little bit, but I think we're still top 10.
Yeah. So you would expect the state to follow that mandate soon. Either way, we talked about things that you've been doing so far. What things do you think you've done over the past week that you see yourself maybe having a different perspective or a different approach to life after things go back to quote unquote normal?
I don't know. It's a tough question. It's not one that I've really thought about.
I've thought
But I think
about
there's
it.
got to be some positive to come out of it, right? Like I think all the stuff we talked about, like so for me personally, I want to continue to make this effort to like have this open dialogue and communication with friends and family on a regular basis. And like we've got this great opportunity through technology to like FaceTime and see people that are sometimes across the country from us, that even though they don't live next to us, that we have that opportunity to do so. So like that's a big one. The other one is like working from home. I think that one of the big benefits that's going to come out of this is almost every business has been forced to adapt and adopt some sort of working from home model where people have that flexibility and capability. And I think that it's a good thing that we're not all so tethered to a brick and mortar. I think that's still going to be the way business needs to be carried out 75, 80% of the time. But there is some flexibility that I don't think that's necessary all the time. And hopefully that leads to a better work-life balance that I definitely want to make sure I find a way to incorporate that on a regular basis on my end.
I think I quit my job right before this happened, like the week that this started. So I can't tell how much of the change is just from that. I think most of it is because my goal was to start doing art full time and setting up that kind of schedule. And I think the fact that I can't go anywhere and I can't use my first week or two to get coffee with friends or make up a schedule where I go to the gym in the middle of the day, or it's really made me lock down how I spend my time working on art, especially in the mornings and the early afternoon. So it's been good in that aspect where I can't go anywhere. So there's no excuse to not be sitting there working on stuff as if it is my job. So I do like the routine that we're getting into. It would be nice to get to filter in a little bit of the outside world once that stuff comes back, but I do kind of like our little house bubble that we're making.
I don't know. Because I would like to make a more concerted effort to make more stuff. But I don't know. We've talked about this before. Like, talk yourself out of doing things instead of just doing them. That's one thing I need to get better at, and maybe adapt that. No, I don't know. So like looking out, like for me anyway, with the woodworking stuff, looking out in the shop and just seeing a bunch of lumber out there, and like, just kind of getting overwhelmed as to what to do. I did build a chessboard, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to keep doing that and build pieces and that sort of thing. So maybe that'll be something I work on. I don't know.
I think that food rationing has become a thing that I pay attention to now.
Yeah.
Not that we just weren't used to grocery shopping for multiple days at a time. We would just buy for the day or get takeout or something. And now having to pay attention to what we have, what we can make, how long it'll last. Even though we can still get whatever we want and go get Kroger pickup, or it's just different to look at our food and kind of plan out for the week what our treats are and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I see what Kevin's doing.
Is he eating?
You don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I do. I see you have a vinyl record in your hands.
Huh? Look, I'm just saying, like all this talk about what we've been working on. I mean, we're talking bubble stuff. I wanted to show Tim's latest edition for
good
house
record.
Here.
Yeah.
So Tim made a holder for Kevin's records, and it has, what is that, like? Is a polisher?
Yeah, it's a cleaner and a brush.
Yeah, it's a cleaner and a brush. So it's got slots for both of them that are. So it's got a slot for the sleeve for the record that slots in there.
For the record.
And then for the cleaner and for the brush, so they all have a place. And he's got little keyholes on the back, so it just floats on the. It's like a little floating shelf for the wall behind the record player. That's on my list of things to do this week to get it on the wall.
How common are the brush and cleaner for people who do the vinyl thing?
I think it's more common for people that buy older records.
Gotcha.
Because like I didn't get it until I started getting more records from like antique shops and stuff like that. Just because some of those records are 20, 30 years old, and they've been sitting on shelves in stores for so long that even the dust jackets that are on them, you end up getting a bunch of debris and stuff on them. So I got this because what'll happen is the needle will put a record on, put the needle down, it'll collect all that dust and stuff out of those grooves onto the needle. So I really got it whenever I got that to try to make sure that what I'm using doesn't end up getting damaged or making the record unusable as a result. So, and some of them are pretty nasty. So I definitely,
I can imagine.
Yeah. So yeah, thinking about making more stuff. You got your chessboard.
You got to make pieces. Working on an idea for, it's something simple, but engraved ring dishes using the CNC.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I have a bunch of little project panels, like cedar project panels and maple, just like cut off pieces. And I could, carve those down in a little, I was thinking like little honeycomb shapes or something like that, being able to engrave them. We've been testing out V carving on the CNC, which is pretty hard. It's hard to get a consistent good result because you're using an angled bit instead of just a straight end mill bit. It's going at a V, so it actually has like a valley that it carves like a yeah. So we've tried 30 degree, 60 degree, 90 degree bits, and they're tough to. It's the material matters, and then the settings really matter. But yeah, just getting more detailed. The V bits can carve really like fine detail on things. I don't know. Just trying to get the shop organized and all that stuff too, which has been kind of cathartic. Being able to get stuff off of the floor finally.
Yeah.
But the ring dishes, probably another chessboard. I have an idea. I have a big chunk of like poplar has a pretty crazy contrast in colors in the wood. So you'll have, bright white, like whiter than pine, and then you'll have a dark green. So I have some bright white poplar, and then I have a big chunk of the dark green. I don't know if that's heartwood versus the sapwood, and I was thinking about just doing a chessboard that's all poplar, but completely contrasting in the colors.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Just try not to talk myself out of making stuff whenever I go out there. I think that's one of the things. Yeah. I don't know. What about you? Are you going to be working on your No Place Like Home?
Yeah, I want to work on that. I've got a couple, just like I said, odd and end things that I want to get back into the groove of working on for sure. The No Place Like Home is definitely a big one. Stacy actually gave me a good recommendation for the overlay for the thing. What are you making faces for?
What do you think he's making faces for? What do you think is happening over here?
Shh, don't tell him.
Are you farting?
Yes, I was farting. Yes.
And I tried to ignore it.
Continue.
We all heard it.
A whole bag of Brussels sprouts. Go on.
No, so
that doesn't change what would have been happening in here. Don't blame it on anything you've eaten.
Look, we all accept you for who you are, Tim.
Yeah, it's a big farty mess.
Especially when the government says we have to stay.
Exactly. But yeah, one of the big hangups I've been having with that project is how to get the transparency overlay to work with the frame idea that I was talking to you about. And she had an idea of doing the acetate like I had planned on doing, but rather than it just being the sheet by itself, basically laminating it in between two pieces of plexi that you could put into a slotted frame. So it would be a little bit more substantial as far as the thickness that would still end up overlaying over the base sketch. So that's got me motivated to look into that a little bit more, but I still got to buy some acetate. All the shops and stuff are closed, but I can at least get some base drawings done, I think. And then I've got a couple other little things here and there that I want to try to tinker with as well. But yeah, I've got so much little odd and end shit that I've been trying to take the time to get done around here. Just rooms that are cluttered and closets that I haven't gone through, and like trying to cook stuff and just doing things that I haven't been doing as much of with a normal routine. Like we were saying, art's definitely a part of that. But some of that is like, I've just got to be in the right headspace to do it in some regards. So, yeah, it's been good though. We'll see.
Yeah.
Are you holding open classes for people, Angie?
Am I?
Yeah, I saw that you were doing some art classes online for people.
I did monsters for our niece and nephew, and
I think you should do one for people. Like at 1,000 followers now, I think that you should do that Friday. Actually, I think you should have one that you do on Friday on Instagram Live for people.
Here's how the class went. I basically started off with a pep talk of monsters are not real, therefore you cannot be wrong. And then we just drew blobs and add eyeballs to them, and there's no structure to it other than just draw something.
I think adults need to know that too, though. Like there's such a inherent value in people realizing, like that's the other thing, the coloring sheets that you've been putting out to the same degree, like you give people a framework and a way to think outside maybe some limitations that they had put on themselves. I think it opens up a door that maybe they had been hesitant to walk through. So like you said, the whole monster thing, and you can't mess it up. I think the coloring book pages are a lot of the same. Like you can't mess up coloring something or adding to something in some regard. Like who cares if a rhino is pink and purple? Like it's still a part of the creative process that people get some enjoyment out of. I think you should do more of that for the general public is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. I have an idea from the little lesson for my niece and nephew that I can redo and put out in parts to help people build a monster.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Because then people can submit because that's the other thing that's been fun to watch on your social media. Like I will say, you're going to, like you said, doing this, transitioning into doing the art the full time and everything like that, I feel like has taken some different unforeseen trajectories based on the situation that we're in. Like you putting in the coloring sheets. Not only did I not expect you to do those, and like I thought it was a great idea, but then to see people latch onto it and send posts of like them doing those with their kids in quarantine and sharing their posts, which you've been sharing on your page and stuff like that, has been really cool to see. And I think it would be a similar thing with a tutorial thing with like the monsters or whatever you choose to go down, where if you release that and then you start to get this back and forth between this community that you're growing of people doing that same action and showing like what their results are and vice versa. Like I think it's going to be this cool additive process. Does that make sense?
It does. Okay. I'll work on something. Thanks, Kevin.
It's great.
See, Kevin Escobar is going to be your first customer.
I'm going to teach Kevin Escobar how to draw a googly eye monster.
Says he's actively trying to learn to draw.
It won't help him at all, but he will have a googly eye.
Yeah, I think arts and crafts are a big thing that I think everybody could use more of under quarantine that goes without saying, even if it's just doing something silly and mindless for a little while, or if it's something that you're really passionate about, whatever it is, like I think that there's something to be said, for doing the mundane, like doing the things that we all put off, whether it's cleaning out a room in your house or a closet or something that you've been putting off, just to go through that process of cleaning up your room, so to speak, and getting things organized and put together. I think there's some inherent value in that, as well as like doing the dishes or cleaning up and also doing something creative or reading a book even, and stuff that we don't really have time to do because we get wrapped up in this like normalcy of everything. If things are going to be so unnatural and out of the ordinary, you might as well try to find some way to inject things that promote some alternative view on what that ordinary begins to start to look like whenever it does come back into play again. Because we all have that excuse and that time now that we all wanted during our busy schedules, right? It's like we all wanted some time off to do nothing or to just be at home. And it's like that now we've got it. And it's like, okay, you're going to be in it for a while. You might as well try to take advantage of it. And like, what are you doing to do those things that you wanted to do before, whatever they are?
Yeah. Andrew Schultz actually posted a video pretty much saying that last night, just to everybody. He's like, fucking do it. Like, the right now is the perfect time. Like, if you have any creative pursuits, if you have any like use for the internet, now is the time. It's like,
Right.
you want to start a channel, do it. You want to start a podcast, do it. You want to start doing stand-up, go for it. Like,
Get a Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, get Rosetta Stone. Yeah, get Duolingo. Stop.
Well, that was the thing that was floating around early on, right? Is like Shakespeare wrote whatever it was during the plague or whatever. I completely butchering this, but Shakespeare wrote some big piece of his during a massive.
Oh, Shakespeare in Love.
No, it was Chocolat.
Oh, 10 Things I Hate About You.
It was Chocolat. It was definitely Chocolat.
Yeah, we go back and forth between this, like, I don't know, people on Instagram yelling like, no one says you have to be your best self right now. You get some time to just like cope with what's going on. But then on the other hand, yeah, you should. That can also mean doing something you haven't had the time to do and pushing yourself to create or put out new content or reaching out to people, because now we're not having any contact with people that we don't want to have contact with.
Yeah.
I haven't been in my car. Like, there's no more road rage. There's no more stopping into stores or there's nothing. There's only the people that you reach out to on the internet or call or see in your house. So you're completely responsible for your own social interactions now.
Right.
And it's crazy how much time that frees up.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. You guys got anything else?
I think we should do this. I mean, I don't know if there'll be that big of a difference between this week and next week, but I would love to see from now and like 3 weeks from now and see what our thoughts are or what the world is like. And if we're still this like motivated and optimistic, or if we're just kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, it's weird, right? Because it's like this big contrasting thing where it's like, on one hand, okay, great, we have this time and this availability and all that, but on the other hand, I'm just stressing out and panicking about what everything's going to be like in the future, and should I be like, I don't know, watching fucking what's the show about the people, doomsday preppers? Like, should I just be like preparing for the absolute worst,
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's really going to be the case. I don't think anybody should, but it's tough to contrast those two things of like this dread and also wanting to take advantage of the free time. It's like, It's like these two things are diametrically opposed emotionally, where it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like shit, but I should be doing things that make me happy.
Is this great or is this terrible?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's been the tough balance to find in all of this, is seeing terrible things every time you do turn on social media or anything like that, and being terrified of stuff, but also being like, oh, well, I do have this free time, you know?
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Who knows?
Yeah. It's rough. I
This-
guess we'll see.
Yeah. This will be our time capsule.
Call a friend, call somebody you love, tell them you love them, say, hey, find a way to play some new games and do some new things. We're going to get through it together, though. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Part of me wants to do like maybe carve one thing a day and post it.
Do
I like it.
Yeah. Starting tomorrow.
Dun dun dun.
It's the sign on Joe's Crab Shack. Free crab tomorrow.
I don't
I like
want your
it.
crabs.
I like
What?
it.
Kevin wants them.
Yeah.
I'll take them. Crab feast.
Yeah. All right.
I just want the legs. Some butter.
I get the claws.
Yeah. Pinch him.
All right,
All right,
guys.
is it time for bed? Who knows? We get to decide.
Yeah.
We'll find out, I
exactly.
guess.
Exactly. All right. Where can they find you to get you up to 2,000 followers, Angie?
Ooh, yeah. Angie Kokoma Herb. AngieCoccomahErb. I just put up a sloth, so that'll motivate you.
I like it. Tim, what about you?
You can find me at Tim Herb.
Find us collectively at Home Before Dark. It's before spelled B and the number 4. And thanks for checking us out. If you found us on YouTube, be sure to hit the thumbs up and the bell icon to get notifications whenever we go live for this and everything that we put out. So thanks for checking us out. Show us what you're doing, however you're doing it, on Instagram or Twitter, wherever you found us at. And we'll see you next time. As always, be home before dark.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.